Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? Are we still hung over from the MSJ? I know a ton of people were sleeping a ton yesterday because they stayed up through the whole night. Over on TikTok, we had Bocce Go Hawks and the TikTok crew, Raven, Elsrich, all stay up. It was an 11.5 hour stream. It is uploaded over on Bocce Go Hawks' YouTube, but she broke it down into a 3 hour show and a 4 hour show. So the 3 hour one is where they go over the motion. That's the Rule 56.1, which is the undisputed facts motion, the one without the law. And then the other half is where they go over the depositions and they act it out. And it's so funny because at one point they were just slap happy because it was so late at night. So it was such a giggle fest, so fun. But it is long, so she did try to compress it just at least to those two parts. So if you guys go over to Bocce Go Hawks' YouTube, and I'll link it again here since I'm talking about it. I'll link it in the description again in this one. But if you guys go watch me and DFJ's video, it has timestamps of what we talked about to make it easier to watch our MSJ video of that night. And then it has the links to Lauren's, because Lauren read the memorandum of law. So everybody did a little bit something different. So it'll be cool for everyone to catch up because it's not all the same stuff. And then Bocce, like I said, did the 56.1 and the deposition. So if you guys want, the link is over there, or I'll try and link it here in the description when the show is done. Oh, thank you, Hans. He said he already liked and followed it. She is now officially transferring over to YouTube. And she was so surprised how many followers she had between her being on my show and Elsie's show. She's feeling the YouTube love. So I'm glad that, she's over here hanging out with us over on YouTube. It's really fun. And I remember her always saying, like, I just want nice people. I don't want to get really big and then start getting like trolls. And I always tell her, like, well, our chat is really super nice. So you don't have to worry over here when I send people over there. Yeah, she's already at 1.2K. That's so awesome for her. And we are actually going to play one of her songs on the outro today because I keep forgetting to play the songs on the outro. But while I'm putting the shows together and everything, I've literally been bumping that album 24/7. She just got a album put out on Spotify with Suno songs on the case. And so I did end up queuing that up today because the songs are also on YouTube for those that don't have Spotify or don't want to register for Spotify. They're also on YouTube. Afternoon chat and mods. I'm lurking and listening. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining. Let's see who else is here. Obviously, Hens. Thank you, Hens. He is a member. She is a member. You know why I always say he? It's because my friend, it's Heinz Ketchup Man, and except it's got an I in between. So whenever I see it, I just automatically think Heinz. So I apologize. But Hens, she's here and a member, which I love that. If you are not a member, you can go up at the top, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and then you can hit join to become a member. It gives you one free super chat for $2.99 is a subscription. You help me get some gas station coffee, and then you can help for the StreamYard fund for the monthly fee to keep the show running. So I appreciate that. Joe is also a member. Thank you so much, Joe. And then who else do we have here? We have Girly. She was here early, and I was like, give me 1 minute. I moved the time from 8:15 to 8:20 to 8:30. I was still trying to get some little scragglers in here at the end of the show. Hen says, no worries, I'm here for you. Yeah, it's that Heinz. Krubi says, ciao from Italy. I am so blessed to have so many people from all around the world. Yesterday we had, is it Kazakhstan? I always say it wrong. And then we also have our very own vampire from Transylvania, Romania. We say, darling. I try to talk in the vampire voice, but yeah, we have from all over the world all these people. I finally broke through the Spanish market. I kept trying to break through and I finally did. So now I have Mexico, Spain, all of that watching me. I really want Brazil so I can practice my Portuguese because I don't know how to speak it. I can read it and understand it and kind of write it. But oh, UK here, Emily, thank you so much for letting us know where you're from. Yeah, I have a lot of UK. They were my number one supporters in the beginning. It was US and UK. Hen says, "I love Portuguese." Yeah, I know. I wanna be able to at least kinda practice it a little bit. And I thought about doing some shows in, like, Spanish and Portuguese to practice and get, that audience. And we got some US peeps over here from Alabama. Thank you, Lori, for joining us. How's the weather over there? Is it starting to get cold now? I did a meme, not a meme, but an edit over on TikTok for this MSJ stuff where I was like, "Winter is here" from Game of Thrones. Obviously, we know the Game of Thrones references because of um, Blake Lively referencing Taylor and all her friends as her dragons. So I will link that at the very end, how you can follow the album and everything. So for Bocce, but yeah, so I made a reference that winter was here. So I was like, America from Tennessee, it's freezing here, but deer season. So my husband has been filling the freezer. Yep, y'all getting ready for that hibernation. New Jersey weather has turned over there too, I guess, huh? I wonder how the weather's going to be in New York when the trial comes up in March. If we're gonna be wearing floral dresses or floral. What's the weather like over there on the East Coast in March, Rathful? Rathfuls are making sourdough. Okay, you're in your Taylor Swift era. I see you. Deborah from Scottsdale, Arizona. Brittany from Texas. Love, love, love Texas. And Alice from Kenya. I love that. What's going on over there? What are the streets saying over in Kenya about Blake? Or is it just ain't nobody messing with her over there either, like all across the world? Like sometimes I wonder, like, how is it all over the world? Obviously, you're here, so I'm sure um, you're Team Baldoni, but I always wonder what the streets are saying out there. So thank you everyone for joining us this morning. I'm gonna go ahead and get the show started at the beach. KBK. As I'm doing these shout outs, also, like if you're a member, I'm gonna start doing like member shout outs next week where it's like I'll highlight a different member. And anything that you want to highlight, I'll go ahead and reach out to you. I know that Miriam has her music stuff that I'd love to highlight. Laura has her vintage store and all that stuff. So I'm gonna pick one member a day starting next week. And I don't know if I'm going to go back to just Mondays next week or if I'm still just going to keep on the daily schedule since there's so much to cover with this MSJ. But I am going to be doing that. Oh, Alice says minimal involvement here, only when it matters. Okay. Um, we should all wear t-shirts with "Justice for Justin." Yeah, I know there's going to be tons of supporters outside the courtroom for sure. And yeah, so KBK is from the Philippines. I know a little bit Tagalog. I can't really speak it. I can understand it. My best friend growing up was Filipino, so I can understand a little bit. Her mom was always talking to her in Tagalog. Oh, Ralphie says she's 20 minutes from New York City. So I don't care. I'm going to be there. Yeah. A lot of people are going. I know Bohemian Diva was saying that she was wanting to start a crowd fund to send Ellsrich over there. Um, but yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be covering it. A lot of creators from different point of views. I'm going to be there with my little notebook like I was on Perez. Yes, Lori, I am still doing David on Sunday. It's going to be a complete update show, not just David. We're going to update on Barry Morphew. We have some things with inmate 214. You guys know who that is from Idaho 4 fame. We don't say his name. But yeah, it's going to be a complete recap of all the cases and just kind of like getting back on track with the true crime stuff. Uh, Lori's saying go Eagles. Yes, we're looking forward to that game on Sunday against the Lions. So that's 2 days. I'm super excited about it. I love when we have big competitors like that because it makes the games fun, even though they're always stressful. My blood pressure is always so bad. But the Packers game, it was an ugly one, but at the end, I feel like the next day I felt good with it, and it was a fun yet but stressful watch. I loved the big pass to Smitty, and I mean if AJ Brown had caught that one at the end zone, it would have been like chef's kiss, perfect game, but obviously he didn't. So all the talk instead of the win was about AJ Brown. So I do still want to do objection sports, not only just to talk about Eagles, but also so much legal stuff going on. if you guys are not following the MLB fallout, not only is the NBA in scandal, but also, with basically saying that there was games being thrown in the NBA. It's also the MLB now with 2 players, and Lauren Conlon is covering that. So I really want to highlight her work because she's been doing such great work over on the sports legal field, not field, but the sports legal niche. So I want to highlight her and all her work. Oh, Smitty's from the University of Alabama. I love him and his wife because they kind of took over the role that Darius Slay and his wife Jennifer had in the Eagles, which was they were so sweet to the fans during tailgating, constantly doing work with the fans. And his wife has been visiting different hospitals and different fans, surprising them with care packages, both young and old. There was a young girl, I think she was like 10, where Smitty's wife had surprised her with the care package. And so I love the role that that his wife is filling, because Jennifer Slay had some big shoes to fill as far as being like the team wife. Yes, 4 months to go before trial, and we are going to get right into it now. Today's episode is MSJ Lawyers React, and we are going to go into all the legal content creators. I've gathered them all up for you to get their insights on this, and then we're going to go into a little bit of what else is going on. And tomorrow's episode is when I'm really going to do a big scrub of the internet, or not scrub, but go through the internet and get any stragglers, anything else that's being talked about, because daily people are catching new things in the exhibits and stuff. So tomorrow's episode will be about the depositions, getting more into that, and all the other little nuggets that I can find so we can wrap it up for the weekend. Oh, thank you, Deborah. She said, you're such a blessing to Perez. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. So let me go ahead and switch this tab, make me a little smaller down here. Again, if you have not liked the stream yet, hit that like button down there. And if you are new here, hit the subscriber button. I took this from It Ends with Lawsuits, which I am so thrilled with how It Ends with Lawsuits over on Reddit, the subreddit, has been going lately. A lot of you guys, if you've been following it through at the very beginning, I believe it changed ownerships twice or mods. But this very last time, it was kind of like the threads just weren't what they were. The content just wasn't what it was as it started, and whoever is managing it over there. So I stopped going to it for a while, but whoever's managing it over there is doing such a great job. They have mega threads for stuff. When Taylor Swift happened, they kind of isolated all the Taylor Swift stuff into a mega thread. And so they're doing such a good job. So I took this from over there. It says MSJ all day. And so I loved it because this is all of us right now, just kind of in the docs, doing this all the time. Thank you, Hens, for I don't have no mods this morning, but because normally I don't go daily. So and I don't think I think I might have said that I was coming on this morning, but thank you, Hens, for helping me out. 26 like 59 folks. Come on, y'all. I love the chat when y'all be helping out. Just Khaleesi does it a lot. So thank you, Hens. I appreciate you. Okay, so we're gonna start with one of my favorite TikTok lawyers, and I haven't talked about her in I don't think any episodes. I might have highlighted her in one episode. But it's Katie Pope over on TikTok. Katie Rose Pope is the username. And I love her insights. She makes pretty cool videos. She has about 7 or 8 on the MSJ. So if you guys do want to watch them, head over to TikTok and support her if you do have TikTok, because I love the support going direct to her. And that would be great. But if you don't have TikTok, we have good old docket updates, which I love, love, love. We're going to talk a little bit about them at the end and what's going on that's new over there on docket updates. But if you go into the latest news, when you enter the site and you go into, the MSJ, down at the bottom, you have all the TikTok videos embedded. So for those of us, well, I have TikTok, but for those of you who don't have TikTok, this is a great place to go and catch up on all the TikTok content, because it'll all be here and you can just play it from here. So like I said, look, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 videos on it. We have Elsie there and some other people. So make sure to go check out Katie Rose Pope. She's amazing. You won't be sorry. Like, her content is always top notch. She puts in a lot of thought into her content. So one of the ones that I follow over there. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys really quick. And she kind of sums up the MSJ here and her thoughts on it. Why this sentence matters so much.
And it says, it is difficult to see how such relatively minor alleged transgressions, I don't even think that they're really transgressions, all indisputably nipped in the bud while production continued. Okay, she had some grievances, everything's fine, can support the massive litigation Lively has brought here. And they mention like her big firms, right? And I think this is why so many people are so engaged in this. And it's one aspect, and it's just the cost over these little things that you're like, you go scorched earth over, I don't even know what. But
I'm gonna pause it right there. It's like, is that all of us or what? Like, Katie, you're so relatable, because it's like over, and then that face that she made when she's like what? Like, over what?
very, very minor things. And I think that gets at what people are upset about here. It's like, feels like a David and Goliath situation. It feels like, oh my gosh, she has this power and this money, and she's just unhappy about something, and so she's going to go scorched earth, even though it's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. Then she's attempting to try to ruin people's lives and bankrupt them. And I think that's like part of the problem with the legal system to some degree, is we see bigger players just try to litigate things to bleed people dry of money. I kind of think there has to be more of a solution to that, because it does feel like people are not always equal because of the playing field. I will say insurance does kind of alleviate a little bit of that, because if you have the right insurance policies in place, then technically they should be defending you. But still, you need to comply with the insurance policies. You can use the insurance attorneys too, the ones that are generally paneled. It's a headache nobody wants. But yeah, I'm slowly but surely going through these. I know that I've gotten more notifications of new things added to the docket. I was just like, I don't have a million hours. We'll get to them when I get to them. I think this.
So go support her. Like I said, like, she's all of us at the end. Like, this video is so relatable. When I watched it, I was like, relatable. Because, she starts off by talking about how these are really minor things. And it's literally all of us when she's suing over being hugged too much. He hugged her too much. Jamie made eye contact with her. It'd be one thing if she had said he tried to look at my breasts, or no, he looked at her eyes. So you're literally suing over someone looking at you in the eye and hugging you. Unreal. And so that part was super relatable. And then at the end, when she's just like, there's so much stuff to still go through on the MSJ, because there's still some little, there's exhibits that were still getting unsealed yesterday. And then just little tidbits that we connect, that we think about the timeline overall, all kinds of stuff. So anyways, that's Katie. Y'all go give her a follow if you do have TikTok. And she had some really, really great insights as well. We're also going to go into my favorite ex-lawyer. I wanted to do a Q&A like thing, like a little short, where it asks me like, like I'll put like the questions like, who's your favorite legal content creator? And then I answer and stuff, because I thought it'd be fun for you guys to know like all the aspects of the case, like with the creators I like, or like what was your biggest what do you think the biggest moment was in the whole saga, or things like that. I thought it would be fun, so I'm going to try and work on that. But definitely my favorite ex lawyer is Lawyered Up One. So it's at Lawyered Up One. Hens, if you want to help me in the chat, if you can just put the username in the chat, if you're still there, that would be helpful, since I don't have anybody to do the link today. But it's at Lawyered Up One, and they're over on X. I discovered them during the Diddy trial, because a lot of people were like anti-Diddy, and I get why, because it was, all that stuff was just crazy. But He was very measured. He was always following the law during the trial. He literally clocked that they didn't do enough to give Diddy all those years and all that stuff, and that the case was really weak from Maureen Comey. He clocked it very early on, and he has nothing but nice things to say about Alexandra Shapiro's work and stuff. So he always breaks it down. Anyways, one of my favorites. So he's now doing Baldoni versus Lively, which I'm super excited about. So he says, I'm just going to go ahead and start reading it. It says, motion for summary judgment, reading the memo in support of the motion. This nugget jumped out at me. So in the first phase of filming, 5:15 through 6:14. So we know that there was 2 phases, right? The first phase, and then there was the second phase, which was after the January meeting when Baldoni got yelled at. And one of the Easter eggs, though, that I did find was that message to Rainn Wilson was literally the next day after he gets yelled at, when he's on set and he's just like, I literally just got yelled at and then I have to work with these people. And Ryan was on set. I'm going to cover that tomorrow, that little Easter egg, because we have pictures of Ryan on set that next day. And I wanted to connect it all. But anyway, so this is the first half of the first phase. It says BL did not rehearse a film any intimate scenes in the first phase. However, all the incidents BL now called hostile work environment occurred prior to or during the first phase. What? So the sexual harassment hostile work environment did not occur during intimate scenes? And that's another thing. It's like, if you felt so uncomfortable around him, and it's one that I've been saying, and someone in the comments once was like, that's the best summary I've heard on it, where I was like, why would you want to memorialize intimate scenes with your like someone who made you feel uncomfortable to the point where it was like, making your life, because she always says like, oh, I couldn't get out of bed and it was so horrible. Like, why would you go and do intimate scenes in the second half with someone and then memorialize it in a movie? Like, it is insane. And why would your husband let you if it was that bad? So it just goes to show that it had nothing to do with any of that stuff. On November 9th, they sent a list of protections she wanted observed in connection with any future filming. Wayfarer's lawyers citing Judge Lyman's opinion in their argument against SH. This court, as well as many others, have pointedly observed that in evaluating what constitutes actionable harassment or a hostile work environment, context matters. This is McSweeney versus Cohen, Cohen being Andy Cohen of Bravo fame, and this is one of the housewives, McSweeney. So this is a really cool case, and I wish that Sarah, I don't know if she had recorded it or if she's over on YouTube. I'm going to ask her if she still has the McSweeney stream, because I was one of the lucky people. It's Sarah Yarn-in-Law. So that's another lawyer that I follow. Or not lawyer, she's a jury consultant. That's another kind of legal creator that I follow. But she broke down the whole McSweeney case, and she clocked it before it was cited here in this MSJ, which I think is crazy. So this decision is from Judge Lyman. It's his very own decision that he made, talking about context matters. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, how McSweeney came in. If you guys have missed it, yesterday's episode, go over there and watch it. I played Yarn-in-Law Sarah's video where she explains the McSweeney quote and everything. But here's the quote anyway, and he says, very good touch. So a lot of the lawyers clocked how it was, and I believe there was another case that they used that was also Lyman's ruling. So kind of using Lyman's own words, saying like, this is what you have already said about this. So yeah, a lot of lawyers clocked that. It says, the Wayfarer's lawyers made an argument that I was expecting, but feared they would miss: the contract issue. BL never signed her contract. Wayfarer is arguing that she was working as an independent contractor, but if she was not an employee, some of her claims could be in trouble. The Wayfarer argument, and let me just go through here and like all of them, because I'm notorious for just liking the first one when it's a thread like this, and then I never like the other one. So we'll go through and like them as we go. So the Wayfarer argument about retaliation was very much on point. Even if BL established the existence of a smear campaign, she must also show that retaliation was a primary reason for the campaign. That's the element of causation, which she cannot establish. Also, did BL even file an administrative HR complaint? Nope. Her CRD complaint was filed after filming had already concluded. By the way, one of Wayfarer's strongest points is this, and this is what we were talking about with McSweeney versus Cohen: context. If you are doing a job that requires no physical contact and someone touches you, that would be unexpected and it might be actionable. But BL was doing a job that involved physical contact and intimate physical contact. She knew that going in. And a lot of people clock this because people were saying, like, oh, the hugging culture and all that. But I remember early on, I think it was on Reddit, maybe it could have been X, but people were clocking that the theater community in general, they're very huggy. Like just the theater kids, I guess, or like that style of um working in an environment together for so many days, making movies and stuff. It's more like a family. So that it's really common for people to give each other hugs or, kisses on the cheek, things like that, because it's like it's a tight knit family when you're working together on films or, on stage. And that's kind of like the culture when it comes to theater and filmmaking and all that. So I remember seeing that on Reddit that not just the physical contact from the actual acting, but just the outside, day to day, like saying good morning and having gratitude for each other and all that stuff that she considered icky. Thus, the inquiry should focus on the type or nature of the contact, the timing, and the extent of the contact. Without this case, a neutral party watching the movie shoot would not conclude that the physical contact by both JB and BL were out of line in the context of the movie. I just hope that Judge Lyman knows a little bit about movie shooting to put the actions in context. This is kind of sort of a very watered down version of the concept of assumption of the risk. And I'm just like a legal nerd. I love it when I learn so much about these different laws and stuff. So this is where the Wayfarer parties destroyed BL's smear campaign allegation. BL couldn't even identify one instance of a smear campaign by the Wayfarer parties, not even one. So this is an excerpt from the filing. It says the evidence does not support her headline claims. After months of scorched earth discovery, backed up by a pounding drumbeat, and I love the writing. Oh my gosh, the writing is so good. By a pounding drumbeat of almost daily motions to compel, Lively has been unable to identify any instance in which any defendant distributed or promoted any false story about her, even after subpoenaing dozens of content creators. Y'all remember the subpoena summer? Her interrogatory response summarizing the evidence of what she described as a highly orchestrated smear campaign reveals a surprising truth. What Lively primarily objects to is Baldoni's effort to defend himself, whether by promoting positive stories or trying to suppress negative ones. And y'all remember that in her deposition, it was unsealed on a different docket, but y'all remember where they were trying to get her to say, like, well, can you give me an instance when she was talking about what did Jed Wallace do to you? And she couldn't give a specific instant or article or anything like that. Let me like this one, sorry. Okay, so this says more on the issue of contents. The White case, which the Wayfarer party cited, says as follows. The real social impact of workplace behavior often depends on a constellation of surrounding circumstances. So again, context, expectations, and relationships, which are not fully captured by a simple reaction of the words used or the physical acts performed. White also says that for retaliation claim, plaintiff must show, sorry, I don't know what happened. Oh, I accidentally clicked it. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what I was trying to make it bigger. Right here. Plaintiff is this where I was? Oh no, I was on the White case. Sorry, y'all. Plaintiff must show employer actions that would have been materially adverse to a reasonable employee or job applicant. And he says my emphasis. But so an employer's action that would have been materially adverse to a reasonable employee or job applicant. I don't think, based on the evidence, that BL has made out a prima facie case for SH, which is narrower, or retaliation. On the SH claim, the Wayfarers made what I would call knowing or should have known argument. So like I said, I love the legal knowledge. So today we're going to be spitting a little bit of legal knowledge here. So it's a knowing or should have known argument. Here it is. Lively knowingly took on the lead role in a provocative, sexually charged film based on a book famous for its intense, intimate scenes. When viewed in context, no reasonable juror would find that the handful of comments and the miscommunications Lively has mustered amounts to SH. So this is the same thing Katie was saying. Like, it's such small interactions that you're like, wait, what? All of this, months dragging regular people, content creators into it, going full scorched earth on everybody. Perez, Andy, all those people, because of a couple of miscommunications and these slights or perceived slights. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. It says this paints an accurate picture. It is not as if JB included sex scenes in a movie that was expected to be a G-rated movie. Indeed, before shooting began, Sony communicated to JB that they wanted the movie to be sexier, and JB talked with BL about it. BL could have protested or backed out of the movie shoot at this point, but she didn't. Now, with this complaint of now we have this complaint of SH. So, um, this is one that I'm going to cover tomorrow. There was some text between Colleen and JB about the movie and how she was actually glad Blake hadn't read the book because then she got a different aspect of it, and how she didn't want it to have any sex scenes in the movie because um, she didn't think that it would fit for the movie. And so then JB claps back and is like, but you wrote the book with a bunch of sex scenes. She's like, no, I didn't. It was only like 2, maybe 3. And she blames her friend, who I guess helped her in the writing, for adding, like, but she told me to add some because that's what readers want. It's like, it's so crazy, but I'm going to get into it more since we're only doing the lawyer stuff today and I keep going off on tangents. But um, it's really interesting thread about how the movie became what it became. And we know that there's another unsealing where it just says Angie, and I think it's a message from Angie, how Sony and Angie wanted it more R-rated. They wanted it hot. They wanted it spicy. So we're going to get into that on tomorrow's episode, which should be a good one because exactly. Blake signed up for this movie and she hadn't read the book, so I don't think she even knew that there were sex scenes. And then I feel like Colleen kind of coddled her when she may have realized, like, oh shoot, there's gonna be a bunch of sex scenes in here. And I don't know if she's gonna get in trouble with Ryan over that or what, but um maybe Colleen then was like, no, we should take him out or whatever. So we'll go over those texts because I want to do the timeline to see if she was already friends with Blake by then. Tongue down her neck. While the Wayfarer lawyers did a good in their MSJ memo, so this is, he pointed out all of the good stuff. Now he's saying, I was disappointed that they didn't bring up one of the central lies at the beginning of this case. Even though BL removed that lie later in her amended complaint, she should have been asked about it in deposition, and it should have been highlighted in the MSJ memo. The lie in question is this. BL stated that during a slow dancing scene, JB unexpectedly started kissing her neck and that he dragged his tongue down her neck and said, it smells good. But the unedited movie footage shows BL brushing her hair back to expose her neck from the kissing, and the comment that it smells good was made at a different juncture unrelated to the neck kissing. Further, the neck kissing happened multiple times without any verbal or nonverbal objection from BL. And if you have read the book, we know Ryle is obsessed with Lily's collarbone, her tattoo all the time, and he's constantly nuzzling her collarbone / neck area. So for those who have read the book, we knew right away, like, oh, this is just him in character. So then, yeah, I think that's pretty much all he's got over there. So again, filed at Lawyered Up 1. I'm going to take a quick little break. Oh, Laura. Oh, DFJ. Everybody came in while I was reading. Let me go back. Good morning. Good morning. So there's Laura and there's DFJ. We had him helping me out. I don't know if you guys were already here or what, but I have to scroll back. Miriam came in while I was reading. Who else? I can't go all the way back, y'all, but thank y'all for stopping in this morning. Oh, yeah, so you were already here? Laura's here. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were here or not, Laura, because when I came in. So thank you to our mods. Oh, look, Laura was already here when I was reading about Katie Rose. Okay, I wasn't checking the chat. So we've been having some good morning shows, y'all. We have 159 people here right now watching. And I started off my morning shows with like 12 people. So I appreciate anyone who's here. If you're not a subscriber, I'm definitely on every Monday morning. And I do a couple of true crime shows, and I'm trying to get into doing sports legal shows as well. So hit that subscribe and turn on your notifications for my shows. I appreciate each and every one of you that is watching. So follow Katie. So anyways, I can't go all the way back. Oh, Laura said she had car trouble. That's why she was late. Okay. No worries, Laura. I was just hanging out with the chat for a little bit and stuff. I was telling her the other day, I was like, I was kind of nervous to go on without mods, but I was like, just go ahead and go on. And then DFJ came in. She's suing over little things. On the other hand, I remember she told Megan Twohey from New York Times that she has endured worse. Make that make sense. We see her though. Thank you so much, Adria. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up that tab that I already have since you brought it up, and it's maybe a good spot to bring that one up. So let me just I love how my chat is so smart and points things out because Little Nomad, my favorite sleuth, you guys know her at Past Nomad. Go follow her for any if you guys like deep dives, little Easter eggs, little sleuths here and there, that's what she does. It says, while working on the New York Times hit piece in fall 2024, Blake Lively confessed to Megan Twohey she had endured far worse misconduct in Hollywood. Yet just months earlier, during an ambush meeting in Reynolds' penthouse, Justin Baldoni was told he was the worst experience of her life. So she's going through all this and kind of clocking, and that's what a lot of the sleuths are doing. What has been uncovered versus what has been said, cross-referencing the lawsuit info's timeline, all that stuff. It's so fun. So give her a follow if you guys want to uncover anything else. But here we have in red highlighted, we were told this was the worst experience of her life, and others have witnessed this behavior and that the behavior on our set was creepy. I was emotionally paralyzed. And this, I want to get more into, this is Justin Baldoni the next day. Like I said, I want to get more into this message tomorrow. But then if you put it right next to Tui's interview that she did for the podcast, she says, yes, that's exactly right. And she told me, like, listen, this was actually not the worst that I have experienced in Hollywood. I've actually experienced far worse misconduct. I remember when I heard that, I was so pissed off because I was like, so then you go after Justin Baldoni, who didn't even really do anything to you? Like, what about those people who had far worse conduct? You never went after them, right? So I don't know. Thank you for giving me that smooth transition into all that. So, yeah, and DFJ. Oh, DFJ's wasn't here because they're having major internet outages because of a bad storm. Yikes! Stay safe over there, DFJ. Thank you for showing up um, this morning. So let's see what else is going on. Um, did you get the present I texted you? I don't. I haven't seen anything. What was the present? Let me look. Um, Oh, is it an edit? Okay, let me see if I can send that and maybe we can feature it from our show. Is it tidbits from the show, DFJ? Let me send it to me from my phone to my sometimes it doesn't I don't get them because my computer will pick it up. So if my computer messages are open, it'll go to the computer and then it doesn't pick up on the phone for some reason. Um, so let's see what else is going on real quick before I get into more lawyer stuff. Yes, please hit the like and subscribe if you have not. And you're just coming in. Good morning, Copper. How are you this morning? Pretty sure there's deposition testimony that covers the discrepancy in our account. Keep in mind the MSJ standard and the framing. You are not trying to create a fact issue. Who fell asleep? I fell asleep during your live from last night reading the MSJ. We actually just read like the table of contents just to give you guys an idea of it too. But yeah, it was a long one. I think it was 3 hours. What happens now that Blake's team sued the wrong LLC? I don't know. That's some of the stuff that I want to get into as well to see if anyone's talking about that. Oh, GL, thank you so much for the $4.99. She says BL has had crew fired from sets for looking her in her Medusa eyes. Oh, dude. I love that you clocked that because yes, wasn't it the water girl? The girl that was like giving her water? Is that Cool Mom Jamie over on TikTok? I'm gonna have to hit her up and be like, what was that story again? Or go find it again because you're right. Wasn't it like a water girl that like looked her in the eye and then she got fired? So thank you for that super chat. You guys, whenever you support me with super chat or super thanks after the fact in the comments, that all goes towards my gas station coffee to keep me going while I make the shows, as well as running the show with StreamYard. So for StreamYard fees. So I appreciate all the support. All of yesterday's super chats and super thanks went to the docketupdates.com for their web servers because I dedicated the show to Docket Updates. And it was really cool. We made $20 and she was really excited and happy about it. I told her to add a little button at the bottom of the site. And she's going to think about it. She's not sure whether she wants to do that, but so many people want to support her, and that site is not easy to make and keep up to date. So let's see what else is going on here. I didn't see DFJ's response, but I'm going to play it at the end. Oh, it's just something cute to make you laugh from our Marathon Super Bowl MSJ stream. Okay, I'll play it at the end. Thank you so much, DFJ. She does the cool little shorts and edits after the stream, so I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and continue. I can't read all the comments when I have like such a big chat like this because oh, thank you. Another $4.99. Cool Mom Jamie, yes, and she demanded water. People wore gloves to touch her water bottles. Yikes. But this is a perfect example. If you are a member, you get one free super chat. So for $2.99, you can get a free super chat today if you subscribe and become a member. But yeah, when I have a big crowd like this, it's cool because then it just highlights your comment and I don't have to scroll all the way up to the top. So that's what the super chats are there for when it's bigger shows, if you want your comment highlighted and for me to like actually see it, because there's a lot to keep up with when it's a big crowd. So let's go ahead and get into the topic of our show today, which is Lawyers React. For those that are coming in, we are going through the very best of the best. We just hit TikTok with Katie Pope. We did at Lawyered Up over on X. Yes, thank you again for the super chat. First time catching the live stream, new viewer, Ms. Kobla. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. Yeah, it's a good one because we get all the lawyers reacting, and I love, love, love the legal stuff. Like, I can't wait to sit down with it and go through the case law. I love looking at the case law and then having another tab open where I open up the case law and then I read it. It takes hours and hours to do that, but it is so fun to cross-reference it and like really know what the law that they're citing is saying. Okay, so we're gonna go with at Ludwig Sniffs T. If we can put his account in there. A lot of people don't have TikTok, and so I love creators and docket updates and stuff that highlights TikTok creators in their content, because this way we can see them. You know, maybe tell our friends who do have TikTok so that they could go follow them. But I know that it was a big problem early on in my show where people would be like, well, I don't have TikTok whenever I'd recommend TikTok stuff. So then I started playing the videos and stuff like that. So shout out to Ad Ludwig, Sniffs T, for helping us stay up to date with the TikTok content. And he does these great breakdowns. This is Little Girl Attorney's instant breakdown of Wayfarer's game changer MSJ filing. It says, initial shock. She's shocked Lively didn't file her own MSJ despite months of posturing and extensions. The only logical MSJ Lively could have filed was against Wayfarer's affirmative defenses, but they may now instead be saving their strongest material for the opposition brief. Why the intro and facts section matters. Please read the introduction and statement at facts. So if you're going to do anything with that MSJ, this is the part to read, she's saying. The introduction and the statement of facts. These sections show Wayfarer's full narrative supported with citations. And I believe that's what we read, just the intro and the statement of facts. This is the first time their story has been told comprehensively since the dismissed counterclaim. Wayfarer went after the sexual harassment claim, which is risky at MSJ. A lot of people didn't think they were going to go after the SH. Typically, harassment cases involve credibility disputes because it'd be he said, she said. Defendants rarely attempt MSJ unless there's a procedural defect. But Wayfarer does not deny the event. So I always call this the 8 Mile. They don't deny it. They're like, yes, this is what I did. But Wayfarer contextualizes them. So word of the day, if Laura can put it, word of the day, this is brought to you by like Sesame Street, context. Word of the day is context. That's what we're going to be seeing through all these analyses. Wayfarer argues that within the setting of a sexually charged film, the allegations do not form a hostile work environment. No reasonable juror could find that the handful of comments and miscommunications Lively has mustered amount to SH. Wayfarer shows footage and documents that place each allegation in a mundane light. Wayfarer argues that nothing is severe or pervasive when the whole picture is taken into account. Then we get into the wardrobe gender conversation. A sexy comment shown via footage to refer to wardrobe. And if you guys have not seen those videos, if you go to docket updates, all those videos are here on this red link, MSJ videos link here. And that one is referring to this one where she's sitting on the ground talking about her sexy boots. Hold on. Okay, here we go. And so, never mind. The video they're referring to, hold on, sorry, is the onesie one. So it's this video, the one at the end. So this is when they're at the bar with her onesie, which I thought was rich because she talks about how the onesie was unbuttoned with her cleavage showing, and that wasn't the look she was going for. Yet in this deleted scene over here, she's got her dress all the way buttoned down to the very bottom with her boobs hanging out. So it doesn't make no sense. But yeah, so let's continue. That she was in a fleece onesie. They're referring to her wardrobe, not her body. Gender element. Conversations about adult topics were also held with men, showing that it wasn't just a gender-based issue. So he wasn't just talking to her like that because she's a woman. He was talking to men in the same way. Redacted testimony suggests she participated in similar discussions. The deposition quotes show Lively herself said Heath wasn't trying to cop a look. So she herself said that, like, I know you weren't trying to cop a look, but by the way, and remember, she brings this up way after the fact. She brings up the trailer and she brings up the birth video, like out of nowhere, like, oh, by the way, remember the other day when you showed me the birth video? Did you know I thought that was corn? He's just like, okay. And then she just didn't say anything else. Like, she didn't say, I deserve an apology, or you shouldn't have done that, or like, let's talk about it. Nothing. She just mentions it to him. Lively acknowledged he wasn't acting with sexual intent. So this detail undermines her claim. Like, she literally said, I wasn't trying. I know you weren't trying to cop a look. Wayfarer concedes events happened, but provides the surrounding context to remove the appearance of harassment. This reduces the chance of creating factual disputes that would defeat the MSJ. So this is her. She was at her work in a little telephone booth giving us all the tea, and I'm sure she's going to delve more into it. So make sure you give @LittleGirlAttorney a follow over on TikTok. Her content is great. We're going to watch one of her other videos here right after we do not actually golden stuff. And she did a 5 parts. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. I'll check the comments after, y'all, because I want to try and get through the rest of the show. I have a couple more tabs to get through. So not actually Golden's view. She says, Wayfarer begins with the toughest claim. Lively's allegations don't meet the legal, severe, or pervasive standard for SH. Courts rarely grant summary judgment on this because juries usually decide what a reasonable person would consider severe. Context matters in Hollywood. So again, another lawyer, this is Nag, not actually Golden, over on TikTok, saying the same thing. Context. Wayfarer argues the conduct must be judged within entertainment industry norms, not a standard workplace. Lively knowingly joined a project involving intimacy, adult themes, and emotionally exposed interactions. The behaviors she cites are framed as typical creative environment dynamics, not targeted harassment. Wayfarer leans heavily on the Leah McSweeney ruling where discomfort did not equal discrimination. The SH law reality check. It says Wayfarer cites cases where far more extreme conduct still failed to qualify as SH, far more than a hug and eye contact. Wayfarer lists behaviors courts have previously ruled insufficient, such as explicit jokes, sexual comments, rude remarks. Says, based on sex element, harassment must occur because of sex or gender. Wayfarer argues the conduct was universal and experienced by men as well. So same thing, Little Girl Attorney. And I love when, everybody clocks at the same thing. So it goes to show that legally, this MSJ is so sound. And God bless Alexander Shapiro for coming on, because the motion was written so beautifully. It was so easy to understand. I loved it. And yeah, she really broke down all the stuff. It says the core message, disliking the environment that you're in does not transform into gender-based harassment. Friends Writers Room case. Heavy reliance on the California Supreme Court Friends Writers Room case. So this is one that I wanted to look into it a little bit more when she cited it, when I watched it. The court held that crude sexual conversation in a creative setting was part of the job, not harassment. Wayfarer used this to argue that film sets like Writers Room naturally involve sexual themes and intimate discussions. Not pervasive either. Even if some moments were uncomfortable, Wayfarer says they stopped as soon as Lively objected, which is true. Which is true because there was nothing in phase 2 per her own stuff. Pervasive requires repeated or persistent conduct. So then she gets into part 2, adverse employment action problem. Wayfarer argues that supposed smear campaign happened months after Lively stopped working for them. Retaliation law requires employment-related actions, not general negative events in someone's life. So again, she was done with work, and that's My Roman Empire. It's like, you didn't have to work with him again. Show up at the premiere. Case in point, Millie Bobby Brown and what is his name? Can somebody help me out in the chat real quick? Harbor, David Harbor. Never mind. Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbor. And actually, I didn't realize how small this is. So let me make it a little bit bigger for y'all so y'all can read along. There we go. Millie Bobby Brown, they, supposedly, allegedly, I don't know, some leak happened where she was upset at work because it wasn't anything SH or anything. It was just maybe rude remarks or something. I'm not sure. We never saw the complaints or anything. This was just gossip rumors. But she was out there promoting Stranger Things with him, and this is the last season. They're not gonna have to work together anymore. It's like you're not gonna go and ruin David Harbour's life, when admittedly they both said that they had a father-daughter relationship, that they would bicker at times and then kind of clash, and then they'd use that as fuel for their scenes where they would have to act out this kind of father-daughter relationship. So I love her for that. Another person that I also admire for kind of letting bygones be bygones and turning over a new leaf, FK Twigs. Brian Friedman represented her in the Shia LaBeouf case, where she did it, but he said he took accountability for hurting people when he was under the influence of alcohol. And, he went and acted in that, I think it was Padre Pio, like a Catholic priest, in a movie where he met him and turned his life around, had a baby, got married. And instead of her going scorched earth after him, they did the right thing. Brian Friedman was her lawyer, and they ended up settling, and it didn't go to trial or court. And so those are two people that I think showed says she was never fired, demoted, or disciplined after filming ended. This mirrors the M job, but now supported with evidence instead of just pleadings. Nothing Lively complains about qualifies as an adverse employment action. Retaliation requires protective activity, adverse employment action, and causation. Wayfarer says live, and that's what everyone has been shouting since the very beginning. Because I always thought that it wasn't even retaliation, but I always thought that if there was any retaliation or anything that ends up coming out, which there wasn't, but I always thought that it was because they put him in the basement. Like, it felt like right after that premiere, when they put him in the basement and he realized, like, oh crap, they're really going scorched earth on me. That's when he started to get people to be like, can you help me out? Can we do something? Can we counter these stories? Because now everyone's saying like I'm a bad guy because I'm not at the premiere, and like rumors are spreading. So I always thought, if anything, it would be from him getting put in the basement, not from all of that stuff. He was not trying to do anything to hurt her on that stuff. And like I said, it was moot because there was no retaliation, but inevitable and independent of her complaints. The key issue is whether Lively was an employee or an independent contractor. And we talked about this ad nauseum for months ago, where people delved into the Title VII, the FIHA, California labor law, all that stuff I'm doing in here. Some of the law tubers and all that have clocked this already. Wayfarer applies a multi-factor control test across all relevant statutes. Central factor control over work. She held meetings at her home and influenced schedules. She declined to sign the loan out agreement. These details position her as powerful and autonomous rather than subordinate. Discrimination law targets employees because contractors can negotiate terms and walk away. If someone controls their conditions and can exit freely, fewer employment protections apply. Wayfarer argues Lively operated and was paid like a contractor, undermining her employment law claims. She then goes on to say failure to investigate. Lively brings a standalone claim for failure to not SH, so no formal HR investigation obligation was triggered. She was basically like, he looked me in the eye. Like, what? Okay, that's not a formal SH complaint. Lively effectively waived the full HR process by agreeing to the 17-point resolution document, which she did. In that email, she says, in lieu of a formal HR complaint, this is what I need to happen. They emphasized that they had a separate HR department, formal policies, and an employee handbook. A workplace complaint hotline was also printed on the call sheets, which they got daily. She was complaining about senior leadership to senior leadership, which limited the value of any internal structure. But at the same time, it would have at least been on record that she complained. It's the same thing. If something happens at work, senior leadership is the manager, right? If you go and complain to the manager, I mean, are you going to say, no, I can't complain to the manager because it's the manager that's doing the complaint? No, you at least go and tell the manager so it's documented that you try to go tell him about his behavior, you reported it, and then it's their job to escalate it to their have said, hey, no, I want you, like, who's your boss? Which would have been, I guess, Steve, who is their boss, or the HR department, I guess. But either way, there would have been some kind of formal complaint, which she never filed, and we know why. Wayfarer argues only the offer letter was operative because the loan out agreement was never finalized. So there was no meeting existed. She was paid only under the offer letter, but the loan out never came into legal effect. The loan out agreement contains a merger clause. If the loan out isn't enforceable, its protection doesn't apply. The only contract that could be breached is the offer letter that lacks the terms she relies on. The loan out agreement includes a notice and a cure clause requiring written notice in 30 days to fix any breach. Wayfarer argues Lively never invoked that clause. Even if she had, Wayfarer repeats their job point that Lively pursued CRD and right to sue notices against Wayfarer. Not it ends with Movie LLC, which is what we were talking about earlier. It's the wrong subtext. Suggests her counsel Gottlieb mishandled the notice process by targeting the wrong entity at the wrong time. And so then finally it goes on to say Wayfarer argues that it ends with this Movie LLC is a completely separate company. The LLC has its own bank accounts, its own legal counsel. Wayfarer says Lively isn't a California citizen, so she stands for non-actionable opinions and not factual assertions. Allowing lawsuits against lawyers for public denials would chill advocacy and raise First Amendment concerns. They then say the civil conspiracy requires an underlying wrong. If the core claims fail, the conspiracy claim automatically collapses. This is where they address Steve Sarowitz briefly, and Wayfarer argues that the only evidence is the Claire Ayub recording, which doesn't support any of their pleaded theories. Sarowitz wasn't present and didn't direct anything and doesn't belong in this case. MSJs often focus on damages because reducing or eliminated recoverable damages can make the case collapse. If damages are legally unrecoverable, the lawsuit can fail on paper without a trial. And then she finishes off by talking about harm and lost profits fall squarely into the categories of accept. It says if Lively considers the actual loan out agreement as enforceable, she must accept its ban or consequential and special damages. This creates a trap. Enforcing the contract undermines her ability to claim her biggest damages. It is a tort remedy and cannot be recovered for pure contract claims. This forces Lively to choose between a tort framing and a contract framing, not both. And then it says overreach. Wayfarer challenges Lively's attempt to recover these damages for Blake L. Inc., Blake Brown, and employment or contract issues with it ends with us LLC can't legally extend to these business entities 2 or 3 steps removed from her. And there was also, I thought I saw one that, oh, what's going on? Hold on a second. Let me mute myself real quick. Okay, so my sound is cutting out. I don't know why. Okay, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Is it better? Sorry, y'all. It was a lot to get through. And no, DFJ just called my phone. I don't check my phone. I should. They said I thought it was mine that was just cutting out. Can somebody check to see if the sound is still going off? It is raining over here, and so I don't know if it's still cutting out. Okay, let me exit. Okay, can you guys hear me now? I'm back. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I left and I came back. If not, maybe we have audio issues and we might have to try again because of the rain and stuff. It could be a Wi-Fi. It's still the same. It's still glitching. Huh. Okay, so we might have to end the show. It says keep talking, CJ. Still choppy, really bad. Okay, I have no idea what it could be. It could be the Wi-Fi. No, I disconnected the Wi-Fi and but it's still cutting out. Yeah, I know that we've already had the show going for an hour, so I might just have to cut it off here, you guys, and maybe we'll do it to be continued. Because to try and fix this, I don't know if it's going to be a long fix, and I was already running a little bit over. It's an hour show already. Pull away from the. I'm not near the mic. I'm all the way, like my computer's on the desk, and I'm not. Says I can still understand you. It's probably try one more thing real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I am back. Let me know if it is still acting up, and if it is, then I think we're gonna have to cut it here. It could be Mr. Shap messing with me, but the weather is messed up, so I don't know if it's just the Wi-Fi worse now, or can y'all hear me a little bit better? It's probably the Wi-Fi, yeah. So sorry, y'all. And then I got a little super chat from Glow trying to get my attention. It's like when I have to read a bunch of those documents, I'm not even looking. I'm just trying to read it and get through it. And I was already about to reach an hour. We started at 8:30, so unfortunately, still cutting out. Okay, well, I had a great show for you guys. It seems staticky and garbled. Okay, well, let me see what else I had left real quick. Yeah, I did have a ton left still. So you guys, I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I'll just whatever I had left on this show, I will carry over to tomorrow's show. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's just the weather or what's going on. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely come on tomorrow morning. But tomorrow's show was gonna be kind of like a deep dive into all like the rest of the docs. So what I'll do is maybe I'll just move some of this stuff. Is it still doing it, y'all? DFJ says stay safe, everyone. Let me see the chat. Yep, it is still doing it. Okay, well, I'll try and see if I can troubleshoot it and figure it out to a makeshift antenna. I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream here. And I appreciate you guys for all your support. Thanks so much.